Hmm? Oh, one thing we should do is kill the phone. What is it, the voice? In Boston. Anyway, I've been doing a series of seascapes. Yesterday I was in York, Maine, painting at well, a place called the Cliff House, and there's a famous cliff that juts out that's called Bald Head Cliff, which I didn't want to do. I've already done it a couple times, and it's kind of an iconic whatever, an icon, and I didn't feel like painting it. So what I did, I was with a couple of other people, and we climbed up on the cliffs behind the Cliff House, and I did this, started this. This is the result of around 2 or 3 hours of painting out in the hot sun. You know. Anyway, I'm gonna hold on. I'll be right back. Kill this sound for a minute. Sound cue on that. That CD player gets a little loud. We'll crank it up when I'm into the painting. But right now we'll hold off. I can't collect my thoughts, as it were. Anyway, I want to show you a few paintings that I've done over the past few weeks up in that area. And this one, as I say, is the latest. Now this, whoops, no, that's a big lady in a pond. Hold on a second. This one was from, actually, pretty similar to this one. Same area, but a little set back a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, Q. Yeah. So that's about a 30 by 30, and this was actually done from a photo. Show you the difference between doing it from a photo that I shot and, let's see, and an actual painting en plein air, as they say in French. This one here is, well, that was one of the first ones. This was also from the Cliff House, Bald Head Cliff. I think this is probably a 30 by 24 or something like that, right? Yeah. So that's the second in the series. And then, let's see, back to the lady again. Here we go. And this is the last one. This is actually from Nubble Light, which is in York, in Cape Neddick, or near the Cape Neddick, and it's a beautiful area. It's a typical, painters, what do I want to say, painters format, the lighthouse and the usual, and so I decided I didn't want to do the lighthouse again. I wanted to just do large rock area and the motion of the ocean. It's pretty good, the motion of the ocean. It's pretty awful. And this was on my website in case any of you happen to go there. But this was a modified photo, and added an extra figure, and kind of put this house way off in the background. It's a little bit existential. It's actually a couple people in the water heading toward the beach, but the angle is so strange, and the house just seems to rise up out of the water on its own. And so I called it Beacon, so they're actually headed for that haunted house. Anyway, I'll be right back. I wanted to show you a Inspired to go to Maine to paint. Hopefully you can pick that up on the sound. We're winging it with a hand mic and the boom on the camera itself. Anyway, this is John. This is one of John Marin's. I talk about something that's all strictly expressionistic. It was more of a feeling of what he saw than actually a literal representation. And I prefer something like that to something that's literal and too obvious, too trite. I don't know, there are a lot of good painters. You can take something that's an obvious subject and make something really creative out of it. I'm just trying to find something in general that. It's another one of John Marin's. It's a little different, a little watercolor painting that he did. And then you get someone like Marsden Hartley, who again has that expressionistic bent. And he's really, it's an extension of himself, an expression of his own passions and feelings about what he sees. And then you get somebody like Louise Nevelson. Holy moly. I mean, that's great. It's a lot of fun. And you say, well, she's really painting. Of course she is. She's giving her a spin, and I think it's a lot of fun. I mean, who else does that with stars other than probably little kids? And little kids are the source of inspiration, should be for all of us. Because they don't really care what they do, and they just have a lot of fun, a lot of good times. Anyway, I'm going to continue with this. I had a couple prints made of the water itself, and I don't know how much I'm going to do of this and whether I'll bring it to finish. I'm going to try to bring it to a finish today. The beauty of painting outdoors actually yesterday was the fact that everything was wet, and now in one day, because I use liquid, everything is dry as a bone. But we'll see if we can work around it. We'll see if I can get some. See, when you're on location and you get all that motion and movement going on, and the sounds and the time going by, I don't know. I'm amazed by some painters who sit there and kind of plod along and paint along, and 6 months later they're done with the painting. I like to get in, get the feeling, get the motion, get everything, all the sounds, everything into the painting that I possibly can. Tuning all the extraneous stuff out, it's really amazing. Yesterday I left here about 10 o'clock in the morning. Get up there. I was on location at about after lunch and everything, probably 12:30, 1 o'clock. And I felt like I was there for a couple days. So I just totally lost in that. And then to come back to Boston. And Boston's a nice city, but like any city, you just have to get away from it once in a while. And that's what I felt I had to do, and it was great. My doctor actually recommended that I go away for a nice long rest. No, not really. Anyway, so I'm going to go right in with some. I'm going to use this as kind of a guide and see if I can bring something out that maybe gives me a little more life than what I've got here. In certain areas, not try to get wet and wet. Just to pull some of that out. Pull some of the white out, in areas. Get this thing going that way. And try to recapture the feeling of being there yesterday. Use a lot of greens, that's for sure. A lot of greens and a lot of blues. And then some white too. Well, I like that using this green. It's Winton, it's a cheap green. It's a student grade green, but it has a wonderful color that I don't think you can make using a better grade of green. Like Winsor Newton. Winton is the student grade. I don't advocate you paint everything with it, but there are some things that really work well. Some areas where you can have a lot of it works. The color's just the right color is what I'm trying to say. Yes. Anyway, what I'm going to do is go back into this area. Whoops, that's a little too much. I was going to say go back in with, keep going for the Naples yellow. What I really want is the cadmium yellow light along with this green. And that'll give me the desired color I want. There we go. That's more like it. What's happening is the water is coming in on the other side of this rock and it's washing through here, and it's causing some turbulence in this area. Trouble is, you know, you turn around to while you're on location, you turn around to mix, you see something, you look down at your board, I mean your palette to mix, and boom, you turn around, it's gone. So a lot of it is just faking it, trying to remember what it looked like. I'm just trying to create a mood. Yeah, back up in here, this might be a little too much of this color, this white. So I'm going to tone it down a little bit. And then I'll bring the white along the edge here. Right up into this area. Yeah, it's more like what happens. And then this here is back out again. Problem with, you know, this may be coming in here this way, but up here it might be doing something totally opposite. So it doesn't all hit the same way. This could be dumping in here while this is receding back. So you have to make a determination on what, you know, what works best in the composition. You can't be too literal. You know. Let's see. The whole thing would have been to stay there and just worked on it and finished it. Well, it was just so late and it was so hot. It was just, we were in the rocks and it was just, you know, we're getting all the heat bouncing back from these rocks behind me. So it got a little uncomfortable. Plus the light had shifted so much. See if we can get something that will recreate that feeling that I had yesterday, and hopefully some of the things that were going on, if it's possible. Not too many hard edges. Get around there. Maybe I'll try this instead. This is the rock here, this area. So maybe I'll use this one instead. For a guide, just to give me something to go by. There we go. Maybe with a little bit of green here. Too much. Okay. But what this does, by dumping that in there, allows me to paint wet and wet. You know? What I'm going to do is kind of, I love in these seascapes is the calligraphy, you know, that you get from this kind of swirling action. It's beautiful. You know, so it gives you a chance to interpret it in your own way. A little bit of Cy Twombly in there, you know, that automatic writing, as it were. That might be a little too strong a blue. that down just a bit. I'm gonna run some of these swirls off around here. Turns into kind of a bluish green. Then you get that yellow and this Winton green, maybe a bit of blue, cerulean blue. Let's see what you get. It's kind of a nice blue. Again, it's a expression of your own feelings. Can't get too literal. I knew a painter, Frank Jarelskis. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but he would do these elaborate. I'm going to take care of that one, get rid of that. I think it's a little too much there, too much going on. Pull that back. I'm going to tone that down a little bit of green, yellow right here. And then maybe go in, make it a little more believable by going in with a little more white. It's just a little heavy. I don't know. The trick is to kind of get things to balance. Get some more white here. Try, let's see. You stick with a painting long enough, you know, things are going to start happening. Not always good, but things will start happening. What's happening here is I kind of push these rocks out a little bit more, and this is really back there somewhere. And this, but I want a little more composition in that area. So, you know, I want it to work better compositionally. So I moved them out. And this here is actually the result of there's an area here where it's breaking over a rock. Just kind of breaking, and then it washed. You can see the rock itself underneath. That's too strong or not, but who cares? I started hitting this area here with a little bit of light green and yellow, just to break that area up a little bit. And I don't know, maybe that might be too light, but let's see what happens. I just want to give it the illusion of light breaking across here. Oops, it's too much yellow. But anyway. Just to get a little more zip on that side, that's all. And who knows, it could happen. There's Judy Tenuta would say. Okay. Let's see. Amazing what happens here. Yeah, that gives it a little more excitement, I think. I don't get too similar, but alright, now what I'm going to do is break into this area down here just to fill that in a little bit down in here. Well, I kind of like the purple, but I'm going to use some of it, not all of it. I just think it's got A little too much there, so I'm going to fill that in a little bit. Yeah. And then this, where I like the light coming in through there, but I don't like the hard edge. This here, so I'm going to break it off. Perhaps round it off or something. I don't know. Let's see. Just throw something in there, make it a little more interesting. This red is actually from the red under the painting underneath. I did an abstract background. It was pretty, yeah, it had some slashes of red, and it was amazing. I turned the thing upside down when I got to the location to paint, and bingo, this red was all, that shape was almost the shape that I was going to paint. And this also, I had no idea in mind, believe me, of what I was doing, which was par for the course. Let's throw a couple of these design elements in, these waves. Oh, that one was horrible. That was an indecisive one. Again, you make a brush stroke, make it definitive. You got a couple minutes left. I guess this was, I don't know, what tapes are playing games with our heads, so I don't know what we're going to be doing. But anyway, it gives you a good idea. You know, take it to the next step. I think what I'm going to do right now, before we kill this, is I'm going to kill that because it looks too much like pistachio, and I hate it. I hate something enough to get rid of it, and the painting, that is. Anyway, hopefully we got enough time to do the rest of the show on another tape, with another tape. Anyway, this is Bill St. George. What do we got, another minute, kid? Another minute? Thanks for joining me for another impression show. I just wanted to get rid of this because it's disgusting too. Thank you for joining me for another impression show, and I do have a website, and I'd like you to check it out if you could. It's www.stgeorgegallery.com. www.stgeorgegallery.com. Check it out. That was a blatant commercial. Anyway, I hope to see you again. Well, you guys see me in my next show. In the meantime, keep painting.